All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day 46. So here's the usual intro. There's no news on these items today, other than today was a busy day. Worked on accounting for a little bit and some renovation stuff. And other than that, we're going to continue with work on the terminal-based block mining simulation game. So I had planned to actually do a bit of work on this today, but I did not get a chance to look at it at all. Let's see, I think last night I was trying to debug something, and I couldn't figure out which thread was which, because I changed some of the debug info. So I fixed that, actually after stream last night. And what else did I fix? I think there's some UI bugs that I looked at. I'm gonna try to get the functionality back to where it was before I started this major refactor. So when I mine blocks, they do not update over here. And that is because I do not I don't do a screen update when there's change the inventory. Orthoplex 64 sends I forget if that's a wave or a salute. I guess it must be a wave, because it does, if you blur your eyes, it does kind of look like a person waving. There's some noise. It sounds like a thunder out or something. Rick Brown James says, good morning. It's good night here. 10:27. I noticed a Raspberry Pi in the corner of the thumbnail. There's a chance you will live stream more embedded stuff, or be doing the game for 100 days straight. I'm gonna continue to push forward on the game. I want to get to the next release. There's so for the next release, these massive like refactoring things. For refactoring arc with the frames, so that was a really big deal to support all that, because that's the stepping stone to a bunch of other cool features, and the most recent change, the breaking changes that I did yesterday, that should pave the way to make it hopefully much faster, even though it's ironically much slower today. I was wondering like how many more days am I going to need to work on this. An optimistic thing would be like maybe in like 5 days or something, I would be in a position to maybe start thinking about pushing the next release. And then after that, I'll probably slow down or stop, or I don't know. I was actually considering maybe I should just focus more on long form videos. But yeah, I honestly, I should maybe do I've been thinking about doing that for a while. Do a live stream of just show some of my maybe do one in the light. Maybe do like a full, full frame. Because I have a decent camera and decent lens and stuff like that. I could just live stream, show some of the parts and stuff. Although I guess if I do that though, there's only so much that I can do. It would maybe only, like after a couple live streams, I'd probably run out of content. Yeah, I don't know. I guess people would, I could probably just sit there all day, and there's probably like random people who would come in, random new people would come in over and over again and ask like, hey, what's that thing? And I would answer the same question over and over again. It's a wave, salute variant. It's 07, okay. Galactic Pest says, hello, Robert. How's it going? Taco Hell says, howdy. How's it going? Okay. So that might do everything I need. Someone's pressing the like button. I wonder what controls. So it's like there's lots of hearts going up now. Is that someone clicking the heart button over and over again? Okay, the likes just went up by 1. 100. 100. All right, the inventory updates again. That's one step closer. Now if I open the help menu, okay, that's working. That's a bug to fix. Let's see. Okay, there was one. Yeah, resizing. I think it's still messed up. I guess it is wind that I hear outside. Must be a storm coming. So something to do. I think I was looked into this, and it's when it receives two update requests with the same size. I think I might refactor this whole thing. There's another whole crazy Now the reason this is complicated is to make it faster, but it also introduces bugs. Yeah, reprint frame doesn't even... The render method doesn't even print anything. I hit the like button and the bugs throw it off balance. Hitting the like button is good. I'm not sure. The bugs throw it off balance. I don't know. Don't know what that means. All right, this is the function that actually prints stuff. My bad is in fixing the bugs on what you're doing. Oh, the like button to throw the bugs off balance. I guess there's I think there's two major bugs I have left to get it back to where it was before. I'm debating whether I should there's a bunch of this I want to refactor anyway. So I might even just delete some of this stuff that's introducing the bugs. That'll make it insanely slow. Upload bot says I'm early this time. I'm actually a bit late today. Sorry I confused you. No worries. I'm also third on the list. Oh yes, you are number 3rd. So this will probably make everything slower. But I'm going to refactor it anyway, so maybe this will work. Are there any specific coding practices or features you plan to implement or improve upon in the future iterations of your game? Maybe not necessarily coding practices, but one of the main things I'm doing right now is the end of this refactoring arc will be to hopefully dramatically improve the efficiency of the just make the UI way more performant. Before I had a bunch of weird bugs where, like in the help menu, every time you'd move up or down one, it would clear the entire screen in that area, and then it would so it would print a bunch of spaces to clear the screen, and then it would print the text, and it would flash every time, and it was just very bad user interface or user experience. So that's been updated, but I still have to do a few things to make it more. It's still not efficient enough. Let's see what this does. Now we get no updates. It's broke. What's up, Robert? Not too much. Just working on the old block mining simulation game. Same thing we do every night. It may end up being a lot of work to refactor this back to where it was. I made it initially quite complicated. It was necessary to make it complicated to make it fast, and it was pretty good for a while, but actually there's one thing I may be able to delete. That was, I think, this thing. So I added that to fix some issues that were happening on certain screen widths. And it looks like that's not an issue anymore, because I'm currently, when I initialize, there's no longer any blank characters there. I recorded the same BS under a bridge again. I want my video journalism to take off, so my city can be safer. What BS under a bridge? don't even want this. Chasing the dragon. Heartbreaking since I was born and raised in Reno. Oh, some like substance use or something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's so much of that everywhere. I don't know. Like it's extremely obvious that it's happening, but I don't even think the problem is awareness at this point. We need, I mean, it's such a big problem. There's some YouTube channels that have talked about, like we have the homeless industrial complex, people that work in city and stuff. And it's not all necessarily like corruption. It starts off as like, there's a good incentive to actually fix things. But then along the way, there's some like housing program set up to house, underprivileged people or something. And then there was, of course, they needed someone to like process the applications. So then, of course, that's a lot of work to process and vet these applications to live in housing. So then, and they get so many of them that they started saying there's like a $30 application fee. And then what the business devolved into basically to like get as many applications as possible and just reject like everyone and just ignore all the applications and then just sit there and collect these like $30 applications to get into housing that's, basically full all the time. And so that's where, and then like this, because these people are poor, like the city subsidizes it or something. So it just very little ends up getting done. And there's tons of that around. If you look into the politics of like where the money goes to help the disadvantaged around San Francisco, the money just like disappears into various places. People who are, their career is in like some kind of social support thing, and they make a few $100,000 a year. But I mean, it doesn't help the fact that $100,000 is like poverty, is like literally poverty level in the Bay Area. Maybe using library like increases. Yeah, I may use increases for if I do like mouse support or something in the future. There are things I probably could implement with it, but Roman Cedric, hi again. Are you still planning for world domination? Yep. I'm on day 46 now, so I'm still dedicated. One of these days I'll get my $12 billion super chat. Why do you always play that game? I'm building this game, so it's not a very good game. I need to write more code to improve it. Oh yeah, I was testing something. Okay, I fixed that bug. That's good. Reno is full of casinos. Tourist town. The money pocketing is so obvious, but nobody touches it. Yeah, I mean, here in Canada, we also have like a bunch of casinos that are apparently like, it's famous. They're famous for like money laundering and stuff. And there's like documentaries and stuff made about how they're all money laundering, but we just don't do anything about it. Yeah, I don't know. it's just part of life, and they're the government designated money laundering casinos, and that's about it. Took me like 5 minutes to work out. You can't draw a checkerboard on an even number of columns. A checkerboard, even number of columns. I guess I don't know what the constraints are for a checkerboard. So it would take me even more than 5 minutes. How exactly do you plan to take over the world? For example, you receive huge amounts of donations in the future. So if you check out my my latest long form video, I have some more details about my plans to build a brand new society in that video. So if I can just get $12 billion, then I can start my own country up in the high Arctic of northern Canada. And then, we'll find some people who also want to start a brand new society. And it'll be really efficient. It'll have a high GDP. And then we won't have all the problems that every other country has. So it'll grow really fast. Being in Las Vegas, don't believe in luck. Things could be cooler, but I bet it was annoying because you prob low-level program. Thanks and could be cooler. I guess there's lots of things that could make the game cooler, but it's part of a longer term project. Casinos are perfect for money laundering, sadly. Yeah, I guess the government. Clearly, the government likes money laundering. Otherwise, they would do something about this thing. just sprites, not being mean. Actually, these are not even sprites. It's text. These are emoji characters. It's a purely terminal-based video game. Okay, so removing that check, fixing that issue. Oh yeah. Now let's make sure it actually does work. That's looking pretty good now without the flashing. Because it's kind of subtle if you aren't really looking for it. But before it used to, the whole UI would flash, and also the help menu would flash on. So I had some weird bug with that. Nice. It's a solid looking UI. The only way I won on a machine was my gut feeling. I don't think I've ever even played one of those slot machines. You think you can manage a country with a net worth of 12 billion all by yourself? I understood 12. Yeah, I mean, 12 billion would put me a lot closer to being able to manage a whole country. Nice tiling window manager. Yeah, it's actually starting to look pretty decent, getting a bit more stable. I mean, it's kind of overkill for like what I really wanted in the game, but now that I have all this, like I can just if I want to add a new feature to the game, I like to add some new, like for example, you could like I don't know, card collecting or an equipment view or some other kind of thing. I can just add a new window. I just copy and paste like the inventory, and then I can start changing that. And it even does like the fact that the text is it automatically justifies the text and stuff. Actually, does anyone know, does end curses, I know end curses does like end curses helps with like a feature detection and stuff, but does it do a lot of this kind of stuff? Actually, I also remember there's another someone I've heard about it independently, but someone mentioned that there's another I guess competitor to not to end curses, and that's not curses. There's a guy who a fairly impressive programmer who made a bunch of his own library that's like I guess a modern equivalent of it, and it has some pretty impressive features. I've been meaning to kind of look into it a bit more to kind of fully understand what it's capable of and how to hook into it. And I think he said not curses is like thread safe, but he also said I think end curses is actually not thread safe. So this thing works with threading. I was wrong. A checkerboard only has to be an odd number of columns or rows if you want the corners to match. I guess that makes sense. You can think about the base case is like a checkerboard that's 1 by 1 or like 3 by 3. Remember the programming of MySpace? I don't remember the programming of MySpace. Just finished the dishes, feeling good. Excellent. That's the this is the perfect state of mind. It's just after you finish an important task. Okay, this I think is the last major issue to fix. MySpace allowed users to edit HTML. Search Sammy is my hero. Oh yeah, I think yeah, that's interesting. That it's kind of funny how primitive the hacks that you could do back in the day were. That you could have a site that actually got like millions of hits, and nobody thought about nobody saw an issue with HTML injection. Whereas nowadays, that's like, if you had something like that, it'll be completely hacked in seconds. Yeah, actually, I don't know if any of you guys maintain websites or anything, but like the amount of bot traffic and like automatic hacks and stuff. Like if you just have any kind of web form or anything public facing, it's just constantly getting bombarded with stuff. Oh, sorry, I'm late. I was also late getting started as well, so you're forgiven. Are you a coffee person? I am indeed. I have SSH port open, and I get crazy amount of traffic. Yeah, now with AI and stuff too, I'd imagine the like the stuff that's available to like, I can only imagine like what is available to nation states. They'd want to I can imagine how much you could fuzz test something behind closed doors with the AI. You just tell some advanced AI in a lab somewhere generate 5 trillion ways to try and fuzz test this SSH connection protocol or whatever for. I mean, you could feed the source code into it, and then tell the AI based on this source code, find a 0 day in this. And I mean, we probably can right now. Just watching the logs on a website that nobody really visits. It's crazy. Seeing a lot more Java. Still a lot of PHP exploits these days. Yeah, there's a ton more like just like SQL queries of PHP, like just like it's clear they're searching for like double and triple evaluation exploits and stuff, like where someone's doing like HTML entities, but also they're doing a string replacement. They're like someone's using one escape function, they're using the wrong escape function somewhere, and it's some like double and triple coding of stuff and just every single permutation of these things, and it's just grinding constantly. Not sure what your goal is. I guess just to the cost of probing is low, close to zero. So if you just send out a few billion of these requests, and you get a couple internal server errors, then you found something. I used a few things, and you can see different countries attempting. You know what coffee is? Oh, is coffee a metaphor for something? When the person said, "Are you?" Oh, I asked if you were a coffee person. I thought you just meant like actual coffee. heard of a number of different contexts over the years where people use coffee as like a code word. That's funny. So when that person first asked, I thought coffee, like, do you drink coffee or tea? And I just meant coffee. And then that person said it's a web framework. And then you said it's a type of drug. One of the other things I refer to it was back when I used to play World of Warcraft. It was a nickname people used for an exploit for a little while because they didn't want to get like banned by the mods for like this. I can't remember if it was an exploit or I think there might have also been some like tools or something like that. So I guess it's a code word that people use for lots of different stuff. Public AIs like ChatGPT or Cloud, I doubt they can find a 0 day. I think some of them probably could if you ask good enough questions. But I mean, at some point, that might be basically cheating, because you could just manually test stuff itself, but it'd be good for like kind of auto-generating test cases. No one asks if you're a coffee person. I was joking, asking. I've heard of CoffeeScript. Yeah, I don't know what exactly everyone's intention is by the coffee discussion, but I do drink coffee. I have 1 coffee a day in the morning. Real normal coffee. And other than that, I don't use any coffee frameworks or any of that stuff. All right, let me think. Given no garbage and low quality EPRs, AI creates. I'm very confident AI is kind of find 0 day. I think I think where AIs will really shine is specifically in stuff like 0 day finding, because the definition of the problem is when the cost of a bad result is near 0, but the cost of a useful result is like extreme, or the benefit of a good result is extremely high. So it would require some you'd have to have some good integration, but like if you just had if you had access to the API and you just showed it some code or something, like you could probably take give it some basic description or parameters about what page to look at, or give it some description about what type of attack. So like something you can kind of semi-automate, like maybe even just go to a website, take the public-facing HTML of the site, feed that into the LLM, say come up with a curl request that tries to find a 0 day in this website, and then just take that curl request and execute it, and then just do that 5 billion times over and over and over again. And eventually you can probably, trigger, as soon as you get like a 500 error, you could just have your integration system log that. And then every time you get an internal server error, you can just feed that back into the loop and say, like, among these, here's a web page that gets a 500 error, and then just like hammer on that again, try and figure out why trigger something that's going to trigger 5,000 variations of this. I have 2 during morning and 2 at night. I used to drink more, but when I was younger, I discovered coffee and I was like, wow, this is great. I just drank an infinite number of coffee. But then I suffered the consequences. 0 days are scary because there's no protection, but people also don't update their computers. So even once patched, they're still vulnerable. Yeah. Does Game Dev Chant come in daily? He does often stop by daily. In doing this for 46 days, it seems like there's some people, like, people will stop in every day for a while, and then people discover the stream and they're like, hey, this is pretty cool, and then they do it for a bit, and then they realize how boring it is, and then they I guess they kind of get bored, move on to something else. I disagree. I think you're putting too much faith in critical thinking. I don't think it's critical thinking. I think it's good at exploring the input space. And the thing is, like, when you're talking here about, like, I'm not talking about like a manual ChatGPT conversation. I'm just saying, like if you just automated it, if you went through the API and you asked it to come up with like thousands and thousands of variations. What are you doing? I'm currently working on the terminal-based block mining game. It's a video game that I've been working on for a while. I guess you can kind of see it here. Right now I'm just doing some testing on the UI. So you spam the M key to mine blocks, and they show up in your inventory there. What's a Discord? Oh yeah, I've been meaning. So I set up my. So I have my own Discord channel. I'm not actually going to maintain it. Someone else who started another Discord. And I think it makes sense to kind of offload it to there. I don't have the link to it. Yeah, let me try your name. Yoshikage. Yoshikage. If you have the link, feel free, or just you can give him the ID number and he can probably figure it out from that. All right. Let me think. I need to think about visual Robert Elder server. Yeah, it's on my to-do list to put that in the oh, there's two different. Yeah, I decided to have one to connect all the Discord servers. I don't know. I'm not sure what the future holds. I actually don't really use Discord for anything, but I know a lot of other people really like it. But I also, even from like the small number of other, I don't know, for some reason those type of chats seem to, I don't know, they, some people are okay with them, but they seem to attract like it's easy to get conflicts going in them. So I foresee that, like, I would say like no politics, but the problem is everything is political, and it's kind of impossible to avoid politics. So rather than like trying to tell people not to do politics and like banning and censoring and stuff, I'll just like as long as people are not doing illegal stuff. And then also like I think the other limit I put is like no degenerate content. So I'd prefer to see stuff about like entrepreneurship and technology and stuff, and how to get jobs, school stuff, grad school, whatever. Let's see. So I think I can fix this with the Robertverse. Yep. Have you used AI to help with coding, etc.? I've tried a couple times, but I would say the results have been mixed. Sometimes I just get like general things back. The biggest problem I've had so far is like integration. So finding like an editor or context that's like actually integrates well with the AI or integrates with the code base. And honestly, I've been so busy with other things lately. I've not had time to like research all the tools. I tried the GitHub Copilot, I think, a couple times on GitHub, but I would say I've spent more time watching other videos about people using them and seeing their impression. Speaking of technology, our Japan made a drone that collects energy. Interesting. What do you mean by collect energy? How many billion remaining until Domination starts? Only about, it's 11 point something billion. I forget. What is the terminal block mining simulator game about? It's a game where, well, right now it's got all these extra windows open. Let me close some of these. So this here is the map area. So I wander around this infinite procedurally generated universe, and I spam the M key to mine blocks. Oh, interesting. Actually, is it? I didn't expect that recent change I made would improve the usability so much. That's good. That means there's lots more optimizations to do. Yeah, and so this is basically the entire extent of the game. But recently I've been doing a lot more improvements to the user interface, getting this like framing system going here. You should create a World Domination Fund ticker. Yeah, if I had more time, I would maybe improve like the UI of this of the stream, get some like integrations going. But it's I have like five billion things that I would like to do, and I have to do whatever can actually move the needle on things. It's easy to spend lots of time, waste lots of time on stuff. So I think actually okay, I can so to fix the help menu, I can do a fairly lazy thing, which would actually just be I can actually just re-add my clear frame function from before, but only in the help menu. It's not really efficient, but that'll work. Does this work on the Meta headset? I guess it could in the future. Oh, it's still broken. That's not what I want. Why is that a thing? I guess it's about mining, basically on terminal. The fact that the empty frames conquered half the board is insane. So the empty frames, that's just for testing. So those are just like a dummy thing for the development. So just to test what the UI looks like with multiple entities on it, like so I can verify that this actually works and doesn't break and stuff. Normally it would I have another setting I changed and it just rearranges the UI, but one of the other things I did is made it so actually at runtime you can close these. I should fix that issue with the inventory. Or I can even close the inventory entirely. So now you're free to mine. It's quite laggy right now because I had some optimizations that made it much faster, but those are temporarily paused. Use OBS? Yes. I'm thinking of becoming a vigilante. You mentioned that before, but that's not something that I am interested in, and it's probably illegal. What are you going to work on if the block mining simulator takes a back seat? I need to make more videos. I need to produce more revenue. The daily streaming thing has just been an experiment to see, like, what would happen. Does it slowly increase in views every day? Like, actually, speaking of that, we're at 30 concurrent viewers right now. That's kind of above the moving average. It will be a meta exclusive. I guess it could be. I think if meta plays their cards right, they might be able to get a exclusive deal with me if they can arrange a $12 billion payment to secure funds for a certain deep water port. It's randomly popped up on my feed. What exactly is going on? What is going on is I am working on a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore. So you wander around this infinite procedurally generated universe, you spam the M key, and then the blocks show up in your inventory, which is currently off screen and closed. Right now I'm working on some user interface improvements to make the UI a bit faster and improve the usability of the game. And other than that, I'm getting distracted with chat. They can afford it. Yeah, I think it's a good deal for them. It's got multiplayer. It kind of does. I would say actually once I finish I'd say within a week, I can probably get most of the major improvements in the UI done that I actually want to focus on. And then once I do that, then I can probably come back to I'll probably come back to thinking about the multiplayer stuff. There's actually still a bunch of issues. Like for one thing, there's some really major issues. One thing is that all of the stuff that happens is like everything is kept track of on the client, or all like actions are validated on the client, but they need to be validated on the server. And I need to have I'm going to need to have like a model where you can basically create like a transaction, and then in real time you play the transaction on the client, you send the transaction to the server, and then the server will come back and confirm that actually happened. So that way, and if the transaction on the server fails, so like two players enter the same location at the same time, or two players mine the same block at the same time, then that'll fail on the client, and you get like basically rubber banded. Talking about ruthless, violent kind for greater good. It's funny how quite legal compared. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there, but not particularly interested. If you're charging yourself for your programming time, how much would the current state of the game cost you? It's a good question. Probably quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the on-stream time has been quite a bit. I had been charging $100 an hour for quite a while, so it'd be like, $300 per stream or something for the development time. So yeah, probably quite a bit. And then by now, that's kind of below the going rate by now. Man just wanted to build his game and take over the world. AS going full Joker mode. Yeah, some of your discussion is a bit off topic there, but as long as it's not too off the rails, and it's not the point where I'd ban at this point, but there's still a decent amount of stuff that's on topic about building a server network and stuff like that. I have to be mindful of what's in the chat, because people come here, people are dropping into the stream like randomly all the time, and when they look at the chat, they'll be like, "Oh, what's the stream about?" And then when they see people talking about like weird drug stuff and vigilante justice, they'll be like, "Oh, okay, that's what everyone here is interested in." Okay, I think that. Oh yeah, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? So close to 20K? What do you mean by 20K? I would just like to say that your terminal is narrow, and the text mapping would grind my gears. So I'm impressed by your ability to put up with it. It is kind of unpleasant, but this is my stream equipment, and I don't have the spare computers or funds to get better equipment. And also I'm kind of limited by what I can put on the UI. Smoothness of the coating's improving. That's good. I don't quite know what you mean by smoothness of coding. I'm getting a bit better at multitasking. Joker mode, I'm serious as a heart attack. What would you use? What would you use for as a light with camera for pigeons? I don't know. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat from Sam for World Domination. Thank you. I will use that in the most responsible way possible. You could sell a $10 super chat to put someone's name in the code. Yeah, actually, I had. It is in the game. I mean, it's literally in the help menu to. Where is it? I think it's in. And block schema. There's dedications for block types. Those were for the Kickstarters. I should maybe, I don't know, once I get to the next milestone, I can push that a bit more. I found the amount of work it takes to get revenue off Kickstarter is way more than like just live streaming. So I think if I just have a specific goal and advertise that on the live stream, like the amount of overhead, like the amount of accounting and effort and stuff it takes to make a few $100s in Kickstarter, it's just way easier. Like for a super chat, it just comes through as like my existing YouTube revenue just goes up. So for like accounting and everything, and it's just easier. So I think I probably won't do any more Kickstarters. I'll probably just try to funnel everything into like live stream super chat revenue or something, because the interface for taking money is so much easier. I did set up a site to sell stuff, but even today I was doing accounting, and it's just like if I had tens of thousands of dollars of sales, it wouldn't be as much work. But the fact that I get like 1 or 2 sales every now and then is just so much extra work to calculate the tax and stuff. What's your site? If you just Google for my blog, I think if you click through some of the links to my stuff, you'll find the blog, and you can find most of it through there. Let's see. Let's see if that's even running. Alright, that's doing what I thought it would do. That's weird. Why doesn't it? Oh, that makes sense. I guess your name is Tom Result. What's your site? After that, AI BS on Firefox. Interesting. Isn't Elon Musk the autistic stoner? Elon Musk said that empathy is a weakness? People use the word autism too much for everything these days. And also sociopath and psychopath. Everyone's a psychology expert these days. So who's going to have NASA? That's a good question. I don't know. Nice. Look at that. We get a help menu that actually scrolls and it doesn't flash. So make annoying flashing noises. Look at that. Smooth as butter. It could be faster than this, but that's good for now. I think that actually resolves pretty much all of the major UI problems. OCD gets over self-diagnosed. Everything gets over self-diagnosed. Aced Psych 101 without typing. I think I took a psychology course too. I have payment API on my website. No extra costs. I just pay the normal transaction fees on each sale. Take each payment using the same rate directly from my phone's NFC. Website is the main cost. Interesting. What kind of stuff do you sell? My OCD is so bad. Spelled it CDO. Keep it alphabetical. Oh wow, that was weird. At like the exact same instant. Wow, what a rant. Okay. Thank you to James Goodrich for the $8. I've been looking at gaming, but I gotta head out. $8 for the NASA addendum to the World Domination Fund. Thank you very much. Thanks for stopping by. And then Bradley sent 1 gifted membership. Congrats to Christopher for receiving the gifted membership. I was a hiccup with the payment API. Oh, okay. I'm gonna miss that. I missed the start of that chat. Coding class, people behind me are watching. The professor asked me what I was doing. I had to tell her I would do the material from Yale's course. Huh. I guess that explains why both happened at the exact same time. Yeah, thank you for the gifted membership. There hasn't been many memberships distributed in the last while. I was kind of hoping that if I live streamed it every day for a while, there would be more like organic memberships come in. Like if I could just slowly get up to like 1,000 $1 a month memberships, that would be pretty cool. Sell services, no products. Only sell products through print on demand. Yeah, I did an experiment. I got an expensive printer. Actually, I have a video on that printer. If you look Linux printing on my channel. And I thought it'd be an interesting experiment to see if I can actually generate sales with it. I have gotten a handful of sales, but in hindsight, it's like I'm charging like $40 or something for the prints with shipping and stuff. And honestly, it's not even worth it. Like that's a lot of money to charge someone for a piece of paper, basically. It is like a really nice quality archival paper, and the prints are pretty good, but still, it's like every time I print, I usually don't print with it much, and then I have to like clean the ink heads and stuff, and it's a ton of work. If once again, it's one of the things where if I did volume, like if I did 100 sales a week, it would be like, I think it could be quite lucrative if I just had the sales. But getting money by not having to ship physical goods is so much more it's so much more convenient. Print on demand is super convenient. They deal with all the shipping, returns, customer service. I get my cut for doing nothing. Yeah, I have thought about some of those things, but from what I understand, like the cost, like I don't know how much you get per sale, but I know the margins can be quite small. So like you sell something for $40, and then you only get like $4 out of that sale. So, but for the other people, for like the customer, like unless you're selling something that people really want and need, I think it's not really good value, because if it's like if you're selling like merch or something, like people sell these custom T-shirts and stuff with their logo or whatever on them, and if fans want to they want to give you money, they're kind of like burning the money, as like an act of supporting you. But then if like 90% of that goes to some third party thing, I don't really think it's a really good value exchange. If they're getting like some garbage quality T-shirt from China, you guys see the hack job of an air conditioner install I did recently? Put it in the Discord. No, I haven't seen it. Yeah, for mine, I usually don't even need to. When I've put it in, actually, I didn't have to put it in last year. Last year was the first year they started checking us for air conditioners here, so that they could try to charge us more money. Want to create Karen shirts? Interesting. What would that have on it? Also advertising for a channel. Yeah, I could. It's an option. Margin dependent on platform, pricing, and products. I sell funny shirts and stuff. So books. It's actually good quality products. Yeah, I think if I did something like that, I'd want to make sure it's like actually decent quality and not just ripping everybody off. Right, that is a fantastic looking terminal based user interface. So I think what I may actually work on next I may actually move on. So I think for the last 46 days, I've been basically just improving the UI, fixing the usability and stuff. I may actually start improving the existing, instead of just refactoring, I'm going to move on to like new features and functionality. So one of the next things I wanted is to actually make the inventory a bit more intelligent. So it actually like, it's not just like, right now it's hard coded down to like 4 things. I'll make it a bit smarter. So you can actually select different items. Plushie? Yeah, I could make one of those. Photograph of a Karen photographed. I do professional photography. I guess. They might not be happy about it and sue you, though. Although technically, I think you have the... according to copyright law, I think you'd be okay to use it. But they probably could still sue you some other way. My best payday was 9,000 from December sales. Oh wow, that's pretty good. That's 3 orders of magnitude better than my sales for my site. We'll have block mining, Robert game before GTA 6. I think so. That terminal-based user interface is almost as beautiful as a calzone. Robert still hasn't tried calzone, right? I don't think so. You have to try a calzone. I don't know, that sounds kind of like propaganda. It sounds like there's a psyop going on from the calzone industrial complex, trying to peer pressure me into having a calzone. GTA 6 on Quest. Quest, is that like a gaming platform or something? I don't even know my consoles and all that stuff. Some blocks should only be mineable if the user is lucky enough to find a simulated calzone. More of this calzone propaganda. First Amendment. Yeah, I guess. Although you can still sue for anything. It goes up and down. You can't really count on it. But I guess it's the same as YouTube. Yeah, it's 9. I guess I missed that. 9,000 pounds. That's, well, pounds. That's even better than dollars. While the money is coming in, just grab that money and put it in your pocket. Save it for a rainy day. It's a psyop. It's for your own good. That's what they said during COVID. It's COVID. It's COVID propaganda all over again, but this time with calzones. Calzone is also, I guess it's part of the multipolar world order. We've got all the major players, the U.S. industrial, the U.S. government against the calzone industrial complex, against me. I've done some books. I started when there's CreateSpace, then KDP, and now they have the unified dashboard. Also do Redbubble and merch by Amazon. Interesting. It sounds like you're, if you're doing that kind of sales, you've like made it in that industry. I think that there's a lot of people who want to get into that kind of. I watch tons of. I don't watch as many anymore, but I used to watch a bunch of videos about like how to do the drop shipping and stuff, and how to set up ad campaigns and stuff, and all that kind of the business models of selling stuff online. It's a competitive space. It's hard to be good at. So many people competing, and then so many, like every 6 months or something, like things in the world change. Like ad campaigns stop working, and for a while, like certain sites will be really lucrative, and then things will change, and it just doesn't work anymore. Something like that. Also, a computer. I guess I'm not sure what you mean by that. I've been doing it for 10 years. Some years are better than others. But it's truly passive income. That's good. I guess you might. If you say it's passive, you must not have to put that much effort in it. That's the dream. When someone writes code, I see it as an X-rated film. That's kind of a strange statement. All right, this works. That was a very cheap change, but it works. Oh, there were a couple other changes. I was talking about the Quest 3. Okay, Quest 3. Is that a gaming console? I'm not. I'm completely out of the loop on what the latest gaming consoles are. The last time let's see, what was the last gaming console I had? Might have been a PlayStation. I think I had like the original PlayStation and a Nintendo 64. And I don't think I've had anything since that. But let's say, hypothetically, if the calzone propaganda got really strong, would you consider ordering a calzone and live streaming a publishing set calzone review on YouTube? I don't know. I may become radicalized against this calzone propaganda. I don't like being told what to do. Calzone review. Dreamcast. Haven't heard of those in years. So there's a bunch of checks in here that I think I can delete. I do laptop and other electronics repairs as well, charging $60 one tiny per job. There's opportunity everywhere. You just have to keep trying until something sticks. Started off as side hustles. Wow, it sounds like you're doing pretty well. You got some good traction. There's lots of people trying that stuff, but my experience, the difficulty is always just getting the initial traction, and like getting the sales and getting the business. Excellent. Does not crash. Renegade against the machine. Very wise. I'm sure the calzone propaganda will work one day. Yeah, you might be right. Soon the artificial intelligence powered calzone propaganda will be too difficult to overcome. +1 on the calzone review. That's such a random. Why is everyone so excited about calzones? It's such a random food. Resisting the new food order is futile. Thinking about coming back to the stream each time, only to send Robert money for the calzone review. You will not do. I don't know. You're giving me more ambition to fight back against this calzone misinformation and propaganda. Hard to the beginning, because you don't see the results immediately. Yeah, my business experience has been a lot of. One of the big issues I've had is I'll do something and then it works initially, so I'll try something. Like a lot of things in business, you try something with expectations of how much it'll work, and then you get a certain amount of return. And I'll try something early on, it works, but it works like 10 times better than I thought it would. And then I'm like, okay, there's something here, and then I keep working on it, and then it just stops working. Like like my first consulting contract, I got into it quite easy. That was back in 2014, and I think 2014 to 15, that was kind of like, that's kind of seemed like when the economy was at its peak. It was still doing good for like another couple of years, but then I had some bad luck, and then after that seemed to when the economy got kind of cooked, and then of course 2019 hit, and then everything went sideways. I have Max to watch. Young Sheldon on repeat. I've heard of that show. I've never watched it. 82% of deep water captains prefer a port with calzones. I could be okay with that. We could have some of those on the Axel Heiberg Island. I've tried and failed 20 things for each thing that worked out. Yeah, there's also a sweet spot of like, and this is an annoying thing about entrepreneurship, is like, if you're doing something that's not working, you have to admit it's not working and quit. But then when is it that you're like in the world today, people can find a way to criticize you for anything. They'll say like, you don't have any work ethic, or you like, you're too pessimistic, you quit too early, you have to stick with it longer. But then if you stick with it longer, people criticize you, be like, why did you keep doing this thing if it wasn't working? But the answer will be like, it did work initially, and then I kept working on it, and I thought I just had to improve and get better and try harder. And so it's a complex cost benefit analysis to figure out how much time do you waste before you conclude that like this is not this will never lead to growth, versus maybe just being not having enough data. 73% of ham radio operators prefer stations with ham calzones. If quitting was an Olympic sport, I'd sell all my gold medals. If only. Okay, now I can have that check on. In theory, I could just remove it. Let me think, what's next? Yeah, the UI of this game looks basically the same, but I've done so much refactoring, and it's like so much more generalized now. I used to just have like all of the text was at like fixed offsets, and there was no. I didn't even have like resizing of the UI on changing the terminal size. Streaming service called Calzone. I don't know. That's just absurd. Unless it's AI video of Robert eating calzones with Will Smith next to him eating spaghetti, I'm not interested. Just ordered a calzone via DoorDash. I've never used DoorDash. So I think next time, the thing I will work on is, I just have a fixed max items in columns equals 4. Let's see, what all did I want to do? The next, so the framing system, that was the major thing to implement. That's been a big deal. Next, I'll probably tomorrow I will focus on. I'll actually put a bit of improvement into the inventory area, so it's a bit more dynamic, and then I guess I could also make it. Yeah, the other thing is it should be possible to place items. So I'll have so right now you can only place a rock, and I'll make it so you can actually select stuff in the inventory, and you can place different items, and then this will be dynamically determined based on the width and height. To pay in for with Klarna because you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, you should not be sending gifted memberships and all those $2 donations. Jason Stratham. Well, I'll probably leave it there for tonight. I guess this was a bit of a shorter stream tonight. Today was a busy day, but probably tomorrow I'll be able to start a little bit earlier, and then I'll focus on the inventory menu, and then the next thing after that is I'm going to do a significant refactor of the how blocks are presented, and then with that I want to implement a really huge feature, which is the ability change the background color so you can actually see caves. So when you walk over a cave system, you can see where it is and to drop into it. So it'll be like another extra little bit of depth perception for the third dimension. Just kidding about the Klarna. That's good. All right, have a good night.